right? So let's call the Francis again.
Yeah. Small banks are largely corporations that have the higher rate. This is people who capitalize on poor people, middle income loans from big banks and low credit rates, right? These are the most vulnerable people, but giving them the most positive policies with the very large likelihood of getting bankruptcy or the probability of them not actually catering towards these people that actually channel or put money towards these banks, right? We think the likelihood of small banks to have really low capital is true because it's that most of the times these are small companies that don't resort to putting their money in the stock exchange market because they know they just can't be part of it, right? Or they know that the amount of interest rates that they give to the people on the ground and the profit that they make is not enough to share within the stock market. So these are the small businesses, right? And because they're not in the stock exchange market, monopolizes the people on the ground more, which makes them to be into which they control or stock exchange markets that are actually given by these big banks, right? I'll talk to you that more and why big banks are more relevant and better in the dominating market, right? We think the larger market, given this world we have right now, larger markets have lesser check and balance given the amount of small banks that we have, right? When you have more banks and more people capitalizing it, persuading you to put in money within your banks, using religion, using any kinds of way to market your banks, we think it's likely that the amount of banks that you have now is less transparent. And given that there's more banks, it's very unlikely to have these kinds of check and balances, right? So given that this motion is this house prefer, OG will give you what would the world look like when the market is dominated by big banks in comparison to small banks, right? We think it's pretty simple. You have banks like only HSBC, charter banks, like really big banks that you usually see, right? But what's important here that's unique from OG and is something unique within this world itself. When you only have big banks, and when you're talking about a specific country, for example, so when you go to Malaysia, you no longer have your small banks and bank like LTS and small banks and stuff like that. You have like HSBC and you have banks like Charter Bank. When you see these banks, and because they are in stock exchange market, the likelihood for you to do proper check and balances and transparent check and balances on what money is put in, what is money is put out, who puts money in, who puts money out is more transparent, given that these are the only companies that you have to focus on. One is dominated by these markets. Also look like the world. When you have small banks coming up, you will buy these companies, or like, when they study, like, I want to create banks, then these big companies will then lie about, I know the world, but you buy like this kind of, because that's what the world looks like when they dominate it. So why is this important, right? Because we're going to tell you, big banks increase the stock market exchange, especially in the specific countries. So when you only have a specific, or you have a smaller number of banks, and because big banks are usually banks that have large capital to be part of the stock exchange market, countries can benefit from this, and the GDP growth and everything will be much more stable. The reason why it's more important is, the reason why most of the time it's not stable, the likelihood of these big banks to lose customers to these smaller banks are high because the likelihood of them to capitalize on the most vulnerability reasons of you to not get loans from big banks, right? With the proportionality of rates that you get within the stock exchange market is severely damaged given that these small markets exist, right? We think the effect of the economy within a specific region is really harmful. Why? Given that there are small markets on the ground that actually steal the customers away from big banks, the likelihood for them to affect the GDP growth and to affect the stock market growth within a specific country is harshly bad because the effects means the taxes go up, the living cycle of that specific country goes up, the cycle continues, right? Which means the likelihood for small businesses to require more capital or loans for banks itself becomes harder given that the taxes rates and everything increases, right? This is very much logical. Why? Because if you understand, when small markets are able to capitalize on people who don't get loans to these banks lose out on these customers, and the likelihood for them to retain the profit incentive from that specific bank within the stock market is likely low, right? So how is this better? We'll tell you that why is this better? Why do people resort to small banks to begin with, right? Because I told you they capitalize on the most valuable aspects of their lives. But these are also people who cannot get loans from banks. These are people who also do not have enough credit to fit into these banks to begin with. These are people whose projects are likely to fail. There's so many check and balances these big banks have because the amount of customers and experience that these big banks has is too far quite compatible in comparison to smaller banks. But before that, let's suppose it.
Do you prefer low where there's no small banks at all?
Yeah, because I told you the likelihood of check and balances is better and the monopoly is less. But I'll tell you why this resorting to smaller banks is harmful. Because don't let's do something actually right. Because don't let opposition then come out and talk about how the monopoly our world is worse. Your world is worse, given that there's more competition on the ground in banks, right? The ability for you to be more to have a check and balance with more competition is likely worse. But if you think about it, right, the monopoly within your banks and within your world is worse. Given that we'll give them the benefit that small banks can capitalize on the vulnerability of people on the ground. The likelihood for them to approach middle-income people and poor people is likely better. But the probability of success of them to keep the interest rate, or the probability of success to make sure the interest that you get from these banks are far more vulnerable than big banks, hence gives people on the ground more damage when it comes to the money that they save and the money or the interest that they're supposed to get, right? The false promises that these small banks kind of diminishes the idea of what a big bank is able to give you. So if they really wanted to argue monopoly, they have to prove why the likelihood of these small banks not monopolize, not keeping up to the interest rates that they promise to on the ground is important, right? But also, on this idea on whether or not small banks have the right to make a business or whatever. This debate inside opposition needs to prove to you how the status quo and how the monopoly of people on the ground is far better in comparison to ours. Very proud.
Thank you for the speech. Like in the opposition unit.
The opposition agrees big banks can do things more efficiently. They agree that big banks have all these benefits, but what we do not believe is that these benefits outweigh the benefit we have from opposition. It outweighs the happiness that consumers get from more individualistic services, and we not believe that these large services are helping the economy grow, maybe improve exchange rate. We don't think all these things matter at all if the consumers aren't happy with what they're getting in the country. We don't think all of these benefits matter if the consumers are happy with the services that are being provided with, if prices are still rising and consumers aren't being able to get loans, etc. Because this debate occurs on the premise that success of a nation is based on how much trust and satisfaction the consumers have in the companies, in the economy. And this can only happen when the companies are able to know that the banks can give them enough loans, they can trust the banks with their money, and this only happens when the banks actually can have more individualistic service in the economy. That's what we understand of the opposition approach to you today. However, first to start off, to clarify, because what exactly are these small banks? We're not talking about like really tiny banks that do not have enough money to give any loans whatsoever. This is not the kind of case that we are pushing. That's not the kind of banks we are talking about. We're talking about banks that are a lot smaller than these giant multinational banks, maybe national banks, maybe banks that only exist in Malaysia, for instance. But we do not under any circumstance believe that they don't have enough capital to give proper loans. They do not have enough capital to properly provide for any company. That is not what the debate is about. Of these big and small banks, because we agree they are both profit motivated. However, what the side opening governments forget is that big banks tend to use this profit or use this capital instead to invest more in increasing the amount of profit that we receive. they instead of investing towards helping the people on the ground, they instead invest to more efficient services so they can reap profit more easily. However, since smaller banks do not have enough capital to do this, they instead tend to invest more towards helping the consumers or incentivizing consumers to increase the demand for the smaller banks. This in turn helps the consumers as well as the firm instead of the firm alone. So that instead of benefiting the firm alone from these kind of investments, this can also help the people on the ground. Yes.
So, given that small banks have less capital to work with, how on earth do you ensure and guarantee that interest rates are more favorable than what big banks with big capitals can work with?
Interest rates is a two-sided coin. If you look at economics, you know interest rates is the fact that interest rates benefit a firm if they invest money in a bank, and however lower interest rates also benefit a firm if they want to withdraw money in order to take loans or to have bigger investments in the future. Thus, as small banks, you will have small banks, the interest rates aren't necessarily a part of the debate because both big and small banks, interest rate is decided on the value of the money in the economy, not necessarily on how big the company is or how small the company is on the start of the debate in the first place. As such that POI is irrelevant. So one side opening government talked about you is how they're talking about checks and balances that larger markets have. We believe that a central bank does exist in an economy and they can easily conduct audits on both large banks and small banks in both. We do not believe that there's any reason why these things will be less efficient when there's many small banks because there is still the same amount of control. We do not under any circumstance believe there will be more like money laundering being conducted, as even if there is so that's extremely isolated case, and we do not believe that this extremely isolated case, and we do not believe that those should be allowed part of it. And even there is a small half. As to the checks and balances, as into the less internal checks and balances, we're going to trade off. We and the South opposition are going to trade off with the other point, which is the fact that even if these small banks have less incentive to research on the companies more, research on the other companies more before they give a loan in order to get profit, we believe it's fine as now companies are able to get loans easier, and with these easier loans, the companies in the economy are able to invest more into capital goods, and again invest more into machinery, invest more in hiring more people, and as such with this long-term investment, will benefit the economy in the long term. And at the same time help cater towards the people because they're now more happy with being able to get cheaper loans and being able to get loans easier with less checks and balances. So we do not believe that less checks and balances actually a harm here. And as to the fact, and next is that when small, as I've already stated, when small banks are able, the reason why small banks are small is because they are and so their management is much simpler. Their management scale is of a much lower scale. Because you compare, let's say, whenever you go to Maybank, they always have service disruptions. They always have disruptions in their ATM. There's always a problem going on with these big banks because these big banks know that people will come to them no matter what because they have a reputation, they have good reputation. That's the harm of big banks in the economy. Regardless if there is still competition between big banks, you have to, the government has to concede there is less competition. And as such, even when the firms invest, they invest in more services to improve the amount of profit they get, and such they are less likely to cater towards these small inconveniences that although small to these big companies, it's very large towards these small consumers and very large to these rural people who come in, have to wait 5 hours to get a loan in the first place, and this makes it very hard and incentivizes people to spend a lot less and save a lot less in banks. This is extremely harmful into an economy as rural people in most countries around the world make up a major part of the economy and major part of the amount of spending that exists in the economy, and without this kind of thing, true economic growth and true development of people can never actually occur. As such, it's much more efficient that many small banks, maybe even a bank centralized in a single town, in order for them to understand how the inner workings of smaller societies, inner workings of smaller towns, and able to adapt their service. Even if they do not provide as efficient services or as good services, we think that's completely fine, as it's still okay, as people are happier with the service they get, people understand the banks more, and the management doesn't take a month to respond to your question whether the ATM will start working again. Okay, as such, we and the opposition believe that we've tackled the points on government on the checks and balances within banks and outside of banks as well. We tackled how we don't believe that the stock market exchange or exchange rate is part of the debate, as we believe it's even better under outside because we do not see the actual benefit there, as well as talking to you about how it's more efficient and maximizing competition benefits and how it maximizes the benefits people have for individualistic services. And we also talk to you about how in the long term can help better investment economy, better investment in capital goods, and increase the amount of growth the economy has much better. Thank you.
Panels, within this debate, we need to really analyze how does a bank function, right? Because notice that a bank functions when, for example, when we're going to give out a loan, there's a lot of procedures and processes that we have to go through first. And we from side of the are going to argue that the procedures and the check and balances that exist when we give out a loan is much more better in big banks because they are more experienced, but more importantly, they have a more holistic idea about what's a worthy investment compared to small banks. But before I move on to any of that, a couple of rebuttals that don't fit into my argument. Number one, the concept that the biggest concept from the company opposition was consumers aren't happy with the services. But then they never point out which part of the services that big banks have are they not happy with. They say that they need more individualistic plans, like what do you mean more individualistic plan? We literally have plans for each income, like how much loan you can get. So we tell you like you don't finish that problem. But they also say that the small banks also have enough capital. We agree, but it's the scale. We tell you right now that big banks oftentimes have a lot more capital because they have the sheer amount of volume from consumers, which allows them to be more flexible in how they function and operate as a company. And they also say that big banks invest on increasing their profits, and like suddenly small banks are more like benevolent and they invest on the people. Look, that's not how banks function, right? Under both sides, you have to concede that banks function on the premise of getting more money, right? We feel like either way, both banks are going to be incentivized by profit, and both banks will want to maximize how much money they can earn and how they can function as a company. But this is where I stop the deadlock, right? Because we think things like, for example, interest rate, right? It depends on your profit. For example, the reason why banks even have an interest rate to begin with is because they want to be a form of income or some form of profit when you don't have money, right? The reason why the interest rate would be much lower inside is because I can just buy the percentage smaller banks will be double the amount because they need to like cover up the cost or because they need to earn the same amount of money, right? So we think when it comes to interest rate, it's not just about, but it's also profit that you want to gain towards the company and how much consumers you have and how much people are actually taking the loan to begin with, right? We tell you if more people are taking the loan, i.e. if more people subscribe towards your money, then you have a lot more interest, thus lowering its interest rate. But this is where we think it's harmful, right? And this is where I move on to my most important argument. Because they say that, look, we can trade off check and balances because we make the lives of poor and middle-income people more happier because we can give them loans. I'm going to prove in my argument why you harm these individuals or these minorities even more when you have small banks and why big banks do it better, right? Previously, I hinted to you why we have better regulations under big banks compared to small banks. But this is why, right? Because we tell you oftentimes big banks have the capacity or they have the resources to understand your social economic background. I.e. they have the credit system, they have your income information, they have all the information that is needed to evaluate how you would function or what's the probability or the risk when it comes to giving out these loans. First, I'll argue why this is beneficial for the company, right? Because oftentimes and balances, because it means that smaller banks would now take will now take more risky investments, or they will have less procedures or less like inspection upon the background of the people, simply because they want to have the customers, right? Because they don't have many consumers to begin with, right? This means that as a result, the likelihood of these small banks to go bankruptcy because the people can't pay back the loan is far higher under side opening opposition, because we need to understand when you become a bit more trigger happy with your loan, or you become less to regulation, it means that you are not fully certain whether the person can pay back the loan. Just the money because you feel like, oh, that person is a customer. That's why I'm giving
interest and control.
easier to like control like 3 big banks opposed to having like 100 small banks with different plans, with different regulation, with different interest rates, with different plans in the country, right? And the reason why I tell you, like even if you were to have this regulation, small banks would still capitalize on people who want to get the loans because they need that revenue, right? They need for people to take their loans, they still need to make the profit. But why is this even harmful for the minorities, right? Because we tell you, even if loans are harder with big banks, we tell you it's fine. Because oftentimes when it comes down to taking a loan, it means you're sacrificing, because often a lot of investing of prosperity. The one you know, people taking away their property, or they will capitalize upon their vulnerability and you'll take away all the things that they own, or you will force them to take like what's the word? Isita lah, but you take away everything they own and then they have no money. We think under side opening government, the marginal benefit that we can achieve by having stricter procedures or having stricter loans is at the very least you don't harm these vulnerable minority people, these poor people, because at the very least if they don't take the loan, they won't be indebted or they won't be bankrupt in the near future, right? Because they can never pay back the loan. The reason why we think it's very important is because oftentimes a lot of companies capitalize on these vulnerable people because they feel like, oh, this person has no money, he's desperate, and that's why it's the best time for you to give the loan, and then when he cannot pay back, I'll come here and take everything he's owed. So this is the comparative, right? Understand that under the opening government, big banks have less of an incentive to do that because number one, oftentimes they will look upon having a more strategic risk assessment, or they will look upon why is it more worthy investment for them to make, rather than going through the hassle likely getting the income is high, but also to acknowledge like those helping opposition to function in a way. And what's the harm when even companies get bankrupt, right? Because only small banks can't contribute towards the stock exchange, you have higher interest rates, and we also cater to the idea of how people won't be happy with the services and don't even strive in that economy, right? Because we tell you big banks have a huge part of the economy when they contribute to the stock exchange, and they also control the amount of money and capital that the country has. From that opening as government, we told you why our argument is the most important. We told you why people, and we told you how services is not important, but rather how you cater to the individuals for all the citizens of the government. Thank you.
Thank you for the speech. I mean, it might be easier, but okay.
OG has been pretty convenient in painting these very extreme pictures as to how exactly small banks operate. So the first thing I'm going to do is clarify that in particular. Right? So we don't think, the way they describe these small banks are just like some dodgy uncles waiting for you for money and then take all your property away. We don't think that's necessary. First thing, a few things I need to tackle. First thing, So they assume that these small banks don't have any regulations whatsoever. We think they do. They still ask the same question that they think are needed under their side anyway. Whether or not you'll be able to repay your loans, how much income you're getting, all these kind of procedures already do exist within small banks because they need to operate within their own standards of procedures as well. We don't necessarily understand what exactly are these added regulations that they need under their side that would better or make taking loans and what we think is already sufficient in status quo. Because we think the comparative fear is like at least now people who do need this money are now going to have more access towards the places that they can actually obtain these kinds of loans in the first place. But I'll get to that later on in my arguments. The second thing I want to talk about is this. So this check and balances thing. We don't think these banks are dumb. You just loan out money knowing that these individuals who they loan out money to are not going to pay them back. We don't think these banks want to risk them going bankrupt. Anyway, so we don't necessarily think this idea of check and balances are something that is very contentious because we think within these small banks as well, we think they also have that incentive to make sure they stay in the market. We think these check and balances will exist regardless. We don't think that's contentious coming from both. The last thing I want to say is, like this monopoly idea, right? We think it's far worse under their side because regardless of how desperate individuals are, they only have a few big banks for them to go to in order for them to take loans. This means the less other access for them to get, which we think becomes far better on the outside because the monopoly is far worse and the competition makes it easier for these small banks to compete with each other in order for these individuals to get these kinds of loans. No, thank you. The last thing I want to clarify is this idea of interest rates. Right? So my LO has already told you like these companies or these banks don't set interest rates, right? The central bank or the interest rates for all these banks, big or small, are fixed within that particular country. Even if like we take their best case scenario where they said these big banks can set their own interest rates, we think it's far better on the outside because the competition is much healthier, right? You want people to come and get loans from you, which means you much rather fluctuate your interest rates under opposition because there's many more competitions within small banks because you want people to go to you instead of other banks. This is an exclusive benefit that only happens under OO when you allow this kind of competitions to exist. OG has never told you why this kind of competition is bad and why they can still get all these kind of benefits under their side. We think they lost this bit. What are we going to prove under OO, right? Two things. Number one is that we're going to prove to you how small banks better cater to consumer needs and why this is particularly important for you to make sure your market is healthy. And lastly, how small banks maximize efficiency and competition, which will benefit in the market overall. So before I move on to my argument, so the first thing I want to respond to that doesn't really fit in is that the small banks don't have, so they have a lot on big banks have capital and all these kind of things. We don't think like these small banks are banks that have very little money. Because we think the first idea having much, don't have something you're going to lose on the market. And so what did they say, right? They told you it's a scale. It's a scale because the capital that they have to be far bigger or whatsoever. We don't think that's necessarily the case. For example, you have like 3 big banks under OG and you have like 20 small banks under O. So we don't necessarily think the scale is there. The comparative here is this capital is now more spread out between all these other small banks and it's more accessible to these other individuals. And on their side, it's more concentrated and it's more harder for these individuals to obtain these loans anyway. CD needs to defend while monopoly doesn't exist under their side when big banks have all the control to decide who gets this loan and the interest rates that they can set on these kinds of loans anyway. No, thank you. So moving on, right? Firstly, which side has worse monopoly? So I'll expand more on this. We think that government has the worst monopoly simply because these big banks will monopolize the economy or will monopolize the market anyway. Because, okay, yeah, sure. So we think it's much worse on the their side, because we think on the their side, individuals are more vulnerable. Notice how they characterize individuals on the ground, of how like small banks prey on poor individuals or prey on vulnerable individuals. We don't necessarily think that that's the case. We think small banks are the only party that caters towards these individuals, because like my LO has said, the small banks are the only bank that caters more towards individualistic needs of these particular consumers. Why is this particularly true? Because we think the moment in which these banks are decentralized, they have more access to the information within that particular region, and information that is passed from the upper management. What does this mean? We think it's even easier for you to now give up loans based on what your consumer in that particular area needs. We don't think this happens under OG. Because under OG, all these individuals need to refer to one of these big banks and not have any other choices. We think under this kind of paradigm to prey on these vulnerable individuals. So on the comparative of which side harms this individual even more, we think OG lost that, because we think OG allowed this monopoly to happen, and that is the thing that harms individuals on the ground even more. So second, why is our side better? We think our side is better because these small banks cater towards consumers even more, and we think this is particularly important because when these individuals are able to get these loans, because we have more purchasing power to circulate money in the economy. We think that's also an exclusive benefit that only happens at the OO when people who need money can actually obtain this money in the first place. This doesn't happen under OG. CG needs to come up here and prove that. For all those reasons, last thing, this bankruptcy, I don't really think banks want to go bankrupt, so we don't think that's contentious anyway. So for all those reasons, I go for OO.
Voting opposition is right. This debate is an assessment of in which world do we have the trust and satisfaction of consumers to be able to invest in our businesses, into our country, into growth. What I think is where this debate takes place, and we'll be the first to contextualize why in both situations in developing economies, that's preferable that we have big banks enter to monopolize. We don't concede that, we concede that these banks may monopolize, but there are regulations in place to ensure that people don't get exploited. I think the bigger the banks and the bigger the potential of monopoly, the better the regulation standards in place. Just like the Dodd-Frank Act that was imposed as a result of the US economic crash that happened, that was forwarded by the Democratic Party in this case. Why do I think opening governments generally out of this debate? I think they were genuinely in their intention to suggest that check and balances are true and real, but they don't suggest two very plausible reasons why those things would happen. They also deny that the monopoly of big banks would exist, which I think is unreasonable. But lastly, I think regulations can happen in both worlds. The real assessment through this is, to what extent does it happen based on how stable your government is and how much they want to regulate? So I think that is out of the question. The real debate right now, which I'll answer in my extension, is why do we get less FDIs, and why is FDI an important assessment to forward our economy and to forward growth within this debate? Before that, I'm going to take out opening opposition. If I prove to you that small banks generally have less trust and satisfaction, then I'm able to debunk most of the benefits that come along with it, especially within the community that they wanted to target. The rural people, the poor people, the people that had little mobility and access. So the first thing I have to say against that is simple, that small banks very often are less likely to recover from economic crashes that happen for many reasons, especially the ones that are imposed externally. Like, you never know what will happen now as the trade war is going on, right? That most countries, like up to 32 nations, are affected by it, especially in the ASEAN region where most developing countries do exist. But even so, very often, small banks don't have the central regulation and features to react to economic changes and economic fluctuations that happen almost instantaneously within the market. Meaning to say that small banks actually have very little leeway to gain the trust of individuals by virtue of not being very flexible within market processes and actions. Meaning to say, as a result of it being less trusted, is considered most risky. Is it true that most rural people don't know what they're doing with their money and they'd rather put it in a bank that seems small and favorable to them? I don't think so, because poor people rural individuals don't have a lot of money to work with, meaning the money that they invest in means a lot to them and they would like to be as careful as possible. If they know that small banks can't hedge or levy themselves against the risk of an economic crash by any happening, surely your money is not going there. That's why in most cases, like even in Malaysia, when we had the recession of the banana money long ago, right? Like most poor people just kept their money because they didn't trust banks, right? I think it's the same logic and rationale that goes with very small banks that control your large markets and institutions within opening opposition. But the third response, I think that small banks can't afford to give big loans. And I think that's where they miss the debate. Because surely if you want to gain economic development and steady growth, you must ensure that small SMEs gain the benefit of it. So I think businesses don't have the same enterprise to sort of compete against other competitors in the market if they take smaller loans to smaller numbers. Because all it takes is one Tesco to be built in your town, right? And to get and to lock out all competition as possible. So your small loan that you gain as a Kedai Ringgit won't cut it against Tesco only because you couldn't gain the new machinery, the new systems, the new edges in the market to compete against them. I think you end up getting washed out. The alternative is simple. Big banks can offer you bigger loans and are more likely to give them to you. You are more likely to compete within your district and area against bigger corporations. You might not beat them, I don't think that's a burden, but at least you survive, you compete, you gain some of your market share, and you're good to go at the end of the day. Because if they take and they can't pay back very often in a world where one Tesco maybe exists in town, and what ends up happening is two harms. The first of which, your banks gain a huge deficit in general because small banks don't work with a lot as well. So any loan that they lose out and cannot gain the money back from, they will lose significant amounts of market share from that. But secondly, as far as the individual goes, understand that small banks, I think this is the extent where regulation is true. Small banks often work in corrupt countries and where they often sell off their debt to loan sharks. We see this small bank economy of Colombia, where they sell off their debt to kill or their family members hurt and injured in the corrupt state that the economy is working. My extension, why small banks have less development? I think it sort of answers I gave out, and I think those are enough for an extension material already, actually. I'm going to note three characteristics of small banks. They have less with, they have less investments, and how to provide fixed cases of favorable loan rates if you put it in. Why? Because the FDIs are areas where development actually gets harmed. As a result, inflows just you not being favorable and invest in your country, your banks have level. As a result, your GDP is likely to decrease. And here's where the complete openings argument on this is that it frustrates a lot of high-income earners. And what happens is that they rather invest their money somewhere else. If you notice, this means that the money outflows our banks more likely than inflows. And I think this is really harmful for the GDP. You're less likely to a currency increase as a result of that. Your standing as a nation generally is competing and be shacked up, right? That don't have the same enterprises to forward themselves. What do I mean by this? It's 6 minutes, by the way. So, yeah, you generally get an unsteady, slow growth. What happens in these cases? Most cases when growth is very slow, it's not steady as much as you want to think about, because many poor individuals also get frustrated and opt into corrupt measures and regimes in order to try to get money. This is why the black markets and the Yakuza in Japan rose up when Japan was a deflated economy that they were in the past, right? So as a result of this, I think the lack of money changing hands within the economy means that people get frustrated and take things in their own measure into violent and criminal compared ways. The comparative is this: big banks entering means more FDIs are attracted as a result, because you can provide more services like fixed deposits, a fund investment, and EPF loan. It assures people that money is going to stay and they are going to be here for a very long time. Therefore, they wouldn't backtrack on you. The ability to give loans is a good thing, but the ability to give assurance is the most important thing that we can compromise here. If they come up and tell you, oh, but corruption and unregulation happens, we always regulate these things in status quo. But even if the regulation does not exist to the extent that you like it to, it's far preferable, because an economy is growing, an economy is prospering, and even if an economic crash happens, you know that the government will bail these banks out and people won't suffer and die in a recession, just like they would on the opening opposition.
Thank you. Please. Let me call upon the member of the
Right, so this debate is about the monopoly of small banks and also the monopoly of big banks. But the exclusive benefit of the monopoly of big banks is that the risk is number one, distributed among these small banks, and why it's especially good to bring on local industries, local companies, and that's exactly how CEO has this debate, bringing out the economic empowerment to people, thus directly engaging with the argument coming from CG, but also we also think that small banks, it distributes the amount of risk that is implemented in the economy. We think that's the largest part of this debate, even that affects the most people, not only within that local state or local region, but globally. We think that is exactly also how closing should end. Before I move on, let's first deal with closing government. Let's look at the number one, they told you that small banks have less trust and satisfaction. Thus, this means that all the benefit cannot manifest with the fact that people don't trust them, they don't put their money in these banks, or they don't take loans from these banks. My first response then would be, then how would your harm manifest, given that individuals don't put their money in these banks, and individually affected given the fact that people put their money in these banks? I just cannot see how their harms then manifest. But number two, they told you that, oh, these corporations, these small banks have no statutory regulation for them to react to. But I'm not sure as to why this is true, given the fact that all these banks are still corporations who are bound by law. They still need to follow the state's law in order to maybe follow whatever interest rate that the state is implementing in order for them to protect the economy. Those things still exist. They need to prove why suddenly they will be an economic pariah and don't follow and want to be captured by the state. I'm not sure as to why that is true. But also, they told you small banks cannot give big loans. Big banks can give big loans, and that's true. Number one, there are a lot of them. There are lots of these small banks, right? Like maybe to some extent they cannot give big loans, but there are a lot more loans that they can give. But I would argue that this is better for the local economy, given the fact that there is no risk if this corporation was to go bankrupt. Less people will be affected, given the fact that the number of financial capital that these banks give was small to even begin with. I think the amount of risk that the small banks, the loans and the risk that is tied to those loans by small banks is something that's ultimately less. I think that's better. And I'll prove more on that argument. But then let's deal with opening government. They told you that number one, these banks manipulate people by using religious narrative. They have high credit and huge banks have high credit rating. That's good. But number one, we just cannot see why it's true. Why big banks won't do the same, given the fact that your will literally have only big banks. The fact that individuals have no other alternative aside from adhering to these banks, that it's easier for them to manipulate more individuals, given the fact that they're the only sole dominator of that economy. I'm not sure why this harm is mutually exclusive to outside only. But also, this is something that's worse than that side of the house, given the fact that these are the only corporations who give these loans. They want to compete with the other 50% of the economy. They want to get a larger consumer base. They make like maybe more predatory loans towards individuals. Those are the kind of the amount of capital that they have to give them, have more ability for them to maybe track individuals more. The poverty harm that they still want to talk about. But also, they wanted to talk about, there are more people who take loans because of the fact that there is less interest rate. Tying on the individuals are tying on that small banks have crazy interest rate and they don't comply to the law, they don't comply to their own interest rate. And they told you that these huge banks have better control, it can be better control by the state. I'm not sure whether it's true, given that they have so much power on the state, given the fact that they're the sole driver of the economy, given the fact that if they move out from the state, that state will literally die and be affected by it. I'm not sure as to how much control the state would have, given the fact that these are the only district or contributors to the economy. But secondly, they also cannot be. These are things like the government and sex lobbying for Hillary Clinton for them to run the American electoral college or something, right? We think those things still exist. They can lobby for all these politicians to change the laws for for them to opt into their benefits. We think those things, those hearts will still exist in the self. We don't want that to happen. Right? If I want to argument strong.
So small banks are very small stakes in the government lobby. Why would they ever try to pass laws to cater to small banks in the same regulation extents that you want to argue?
Right, because they don't have the ability to do so. They are still under small banks. They have still have they all maybe have to some extent the same financial capacity to do so. If the one fight for this, the other fight for this. I'm not sure why this is true. I think those things will happen. Right. Number one, let's talk about the distribution of risk. That is the distribution of risk for small banks. Number one, let's look at the context of how the economy works. It runs on a boom and burst cycle where there will obviously always be economic fall at some point of time. You can see this in 2008, you can see this in 2007, in 1997 in Asia. We think, at least on the outside, how the distribution of risk is something that is distributed among all these corporations or small banks, where financial capital is divided and the amount of loss that people will suffer is also divided. But secondly, the impact on people, where we think that individuals, when they depend on these banks for too much, for them to buy houses, for them to buy cars, for them to buy loans or scholarships, we think the bank ultimately cannot pay for all these things and they cannot access those benefits, and that is the only thing that they depend on. We think people will ultimately suffer. They have decreased savings, they cannot opt into for important decisions that is important for their life. If those parts of this on their side, so thank you. But thirdly, then corporations also cannot get loans, or they cannot get further loans for them to develop their corporation. This means that they let go of people lose their own jobs, individuals have no purchasing power because of this, and there's no increase in wage in commensurate with rising prices of the economic burst. We think those harms still exist on this side of town. They compare here for easier for individuals to not be trapped within that economic burst. We think that's better. But let's talk about access to financial capital. Number one, we think that competition amongst localized banks is something that ultimately happens on the outside of the house. Because this means that individuals will fight for a larger consumer base, or they want maybe produce low credit rating for individuals to be able to access loans. We think this is ultimately good because you have diversity in options in building innovation for these things, where corporations will fight among themselves for them to gain a larger consumer base, maybe lower the credit rating for the individuals to get loans. Maybe having more access to individuals for them to also get more benefits. But secondly, it's important because economic empowerment is the sole catalyst for economic development. Because people have higher purchasing power to inject into the economy, individuals have access to benefits like good education that breeds a diverse amount of experts. Even if prices rises, their wage should be at least commensurate to increase because corporations are forced to be competitive. More individuals can get all of these things. As compared to under that side of the house, where only the big banks only cater to the middle class and up from there, I think all of the individuals from the lower middle class and poor will never be able to access all this economic power and be able to inject their money into the economy. It's worse for the FDI. Thanks.
Thanks, member of opposition. I might be complicated.
The only way that opposition can win this debate is by proving two things. The first that they have to prove is that though there is an incentive for small banks to generally provide general consumer benefits for a lot of people, they must prove that they are capable of proving those benefits can exist in the first place. This means having capital that was sufficient enough to give enough loans to a lot of people. Though they want to, that doesn't mean they actually have the capability in providing. So the second thing I have to say towards in regards to opposing opposition is that though maybe they can say that big banks are more willing to take some risk to some extent, I think the ability for them to cater to that risk is a lot higher, a lot easier for big banks to do so in comparison to small banks in the first place. But I'll go more in depth when I actually take them out in my issues. But before I go talk about their distribution, I think Zal's going to start for a very important things. The first thing I think that I talk to you about is that small banks generally just don't have enough capacity to ensure that their actual economic benefit that will translate into actual country development don't actually play out for a couple of reasons. The first reason why the development is very important is because number one, it affects a lot of things within your country. The first thing it affects is that how your government sectors actually have enough money to pay those people on the ground. This means having sufficient money to pay towards your healthcare, your welfare, a lot of other sectors. So a lot of things are very contingent upon how well your economy is doing. I think in a lot of cases, very small banks don't have the capacity to fully indulge in benefiting the economy of the country as a whole. This means that not having enough loans to give towards FDI and sustaining FDI within your country as well. And I think a lot of very important details, like all the problems that you arise from the side of opposition, like corruption or money swindling or like just monopolies or etc. A lot of these reasons, a lot of these problems exist by virtue of your economy not doing very well. That's why people resort to such measures to like hamper the amount of harms that actually happen to those individuals. If you can guarantee that big banks generally have better capacity to ensure that your economy grows better in your country as well, I think less harm or just lesser regulations is needed by virtue of your economy just being better. Therefore, put us to resolve such horrible measures in the first place. The second thing I want to talk to you about was that even if judge comes out here and tell you that, people don't put money in small banks anyway, therefore there is no harm. The first thing I want to say is that the only way your small banks actually make money is if people invest in your small banks in the first place. They don't have other alternatives like big banks do. For example, like you don't have other alternatives, meaning like you don't have multiple shares that people can buy in the first place. You don't generally have other alternatives to make sure that your money goes in the first place. So I know yourself in the house, people really don't trust small banks. I'm just wondering how fast they can grow in regards to how fast your economy can grow as well. So even if small banks take a longer period to grow, this is just really harmful for a couple of reasons, right? The first reason is that it essentially banks within smaller countries, or just very small banks, even if they have very small books, that doesn't mean that you go in the first place for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that they cannot sustain a lot of FDI in my country. They cannot sustain how strong your currency is. They cannot ensure that they provide economic growth that will translate in some employment within your country as well. So I think by virtue of this, small banks, it's uncapable to just resort or just uncapable to just generate benefit your country as a whole. I think they just don't get as much revenue as big banks do. The second thing I want to say is that he says so many small banks can grow very slowly, and that can come out one big bank growing. I have a couple of things to say to this. The first that might be true, but the growth that you have individually within very small banks are very, very minimal and very, very slow. This means that every time one bank moves to one big one company, etc., they have to wait months and years before they get their loan back, or by virtue of interest rate, means they have to wait years and years before they can actually reinvest their money back into the actual economy that exists within your own country. So I'm not sure how effective small bank grows very steadily, but I'm not sure how fast it can be invested within your own economy as well. And that doesn't translate to the benefits they claim they accrue. The third thing I want to say is that he says that some politicians will lobby for some change in the economy. I don't think there's enough to prove that this actually happens. But secondly, I think it's a lot easier for us to ensure that, like, if smaller banks can then start lobbying for different things, I'm just quite unsure to how your check and balances can actually accrue under your side of the house. The point in which small banks actually have no regulations as much as you like to say. Obviously, based on international platforms, if you look at RHB Alliance and Maybank, they are not international standards because they can cross-check within how they are functioning within other countries as well, and then look at how their performance is. By virtue of that, I'm just thinking, not just can they not screw up within this country, but if they screw up within this country, it affects how much people want to invest within other countries as well, because they're international banks, and therefore just have higher priority to make sure they don't screw up within these countries as well. But before that,
if your harm is that people don't trust small banks because of the risk of economy crashing, why would the government not bail out small banks if the alternative is the entire economy crashing?
sorry?
Why would the government not bail out these small banks if the alternative is the entire economy crashing?
So, like, the only way and the only reason why governments bail out banks is if they were good enough or credible enough to ensure your economy can regrow, just to like save your economy. Small banks don't have capacity to save your economy to the point in which your country actually crashes. I want to take out CEO continuously. Like, this first thing that they actually began is that big banks can cater towards bigger risks. I really don't think so. So I really think that big banks can cater towards bigger risks in comparison to small banks for a couple of reasons. The first is that a lot of times big banks, oftentimes like, their risk portfolios are a lot more established because of years and years of experiences in other countries within different types of economies. Therefore, their data research and analysis of how different demographics work within society is a lot more established in comparison to small banks. They are just very new and have no understanding of how the economy works, or in comparison have less of an understanding of how the economy works in the first place. The second thing I want to say is that oftentimes big banks can predict these things because of the experience that they've had in the first place. This means they can tell very specific indicators that happen within the economy and can tell to what extent their risk or to what extent their investment is very crucial towards their own investments in the first place. The third thing I want to say is that they have excess money. This means a lot of times when the risk is in play, they can afford to take that risk and then provide in case that risk fails in the first place in comparison to small banks as a whole. But the last thing I want to say is that if it's true that small banks have so much influence, I think the likelihood of this government defaulting and just bailing you
how it's not easy at your side of the house because governments, someone has is monopolized by some small banks at your side of the house. But even if that is true, and you see that banks are on our side will default, will take away your cars, your house, etc. That might be true, but the very least on our side of the house, there are regulation check and balances that do agree to that. We will take your car and your house on the other side, but the comparison is your side having big sharp loans that are usually you go to your house, how do you kill you guys because they're not held to international standards in the first place. The last thing I want to take out is that small banks cannot fully cater to the market. That's bad because like they're not and big banks are not actually give you loans. But some of is how much of it is. I think to some extent smaller banks do have the capacity, but just cannot be tantamount to how much big banks give you for a couple of reasons. The first is invest in big banks. A lot of times investing in academic as well, or that is a versatile way for my economy to function because of how international these banks are. So I just think like economy opportunity it's a lot better now. So I just check how they operate because I just know how they were doing in the past. A lot of business give me reason to trust in big banks, and I think this is a high priority and a high debt to give me consumers.
Thank you, now to close the debate, like we might be off the minute. Before I I think there was a huge mischaracterization of insurance. We don't think that good. Speaker before me wanted that loans they have use practices so get loans from the kids or from that this is better for yes, and have to give loans. They get money not just from the consumer trade, like that, but they also get money from the central bank at the end of the day because central banks are the banks of banks. All this at the end of the day, we give loans to like a huge consumer base consumers. Even if the money in small banks run out, we think that since there are a lot, since in our world there's a lot more smaller banks, we think that people can just say that people can just go like, okay, if bank A runs out of money, I can just go to bank B to get my loan. I think that that's a more preferable bank. Or you can just wait for your banks to the outflow of money would happen in a world dominated by small banks. And after that, I'll tell you the exclusive argument coming from Sanjay that it is. First, opening government said that because there's lesser regulation for government, the sheer nullity with the logical reasoning to this that government has an incentive at the end of the day to bring back that they wouldn't want like this companies to whatever they want. We don't think that's advantageous for them. They also said that banks, smaller banks would practice do practices and take advantage not to why. that specific banks is not an exclusive coming. It's not an exclusive argument. It's like government. We think that our government wouldn't want to impose laws to small banks, knowing that if these banks dominate the market, it means that these people and government has this that they
it's harder for them to get some kind of profit. Do you agree that there will be less risk when it comes to giving out?
no, speech. Central banks also get money from central banks since central banks are bankers of banks. Loans will happen at the end of the day in our world, especially at smaller runs out of money. They could also just wait to restock money from the central bank. So in response to OE, it's easy to regulate larger banks. We think that it's wrong. We think that large bank has a lot of resources to lobby for the removal of laws like the stock price. For example, like in America, where since Trump took over, big banks have convinced Congress, I think, to remove the Dodd-Frank Act because they want to deregulate market to restart what happened during the 2008 financial crisis. Because the comparative in there will have a lot of resources. They can control the market easily by lobbying to deregulate laws and influence the market in their favor. What we want is we don't want that to happen in our world. We think that small banks, given that they don't have that enough resources to influence regulation, to push for deregulation of this. That still stand. We think that much market coming from side of closing opposition, they said that rich people won't be interested to invest in their own country because they won't get loans from smaller banks, and low partial districts won't get loans to fight. Won't get loans to fight with like that's what, and people would go to the yakuzas or along to get loans to own their resources. But we don't think that's true because we think that the local rich will still get loan from the local bank or smaller bank because they want to invest in their own country. We think that the regulations put in place in their own country favors them compared to them going outside where regulations is tougher on foreign investors. We think that it's much easier for them to get loans here and invest at the end of the day. We think that these rich people have a higher purchasing power in their own country, meaning that if they were smart, they wouldn't go outside where their purchasing power might be lower at the end of the day. And it's much better to just getting a loan from small bank, even though it's much, they can invest with a higher purchasing. And we also think that resort to like get their loans because why would they invest? Try to get money from at least for investment, but also we think that smaller banks have an incentive to cater to local people. We think that smaller banks will help. What is the exclusive argument coming from side closing? Does it told you that we are able to distribute by having smaller banks? We are able to distribute this. We wouldn't have like all our eggs in one basket, and like let's say with economic collapse, we wouldn't like all banks wouldn't lose their money or like shut down like what happened in 2008, the financial crisis. We also say that we help put people on the ground. We think that it's easier for them to get money from smaller banks due to competition over interest rate. And small banks have an incentive to keep their interest rate low. We think that this money can be used to buy houses, to get education, to escape from poverty. We assure that I'm proud to.
And